last week, I believe, calling Aaron Rodgers a fraud. It was a pretty vicious attack by Ryan Clark, the ESPN broadcaster, the former Pittsburgh Steelers safety. He snapped on Aaron Rodgers. Let's play SOT number 8.
Actually, Aaron Rodgers, you're being paid to be on that show to give your thoughts and opinions as a personality.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. He is not to me a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is one of the best and most talented quarterbacks to ever play this game. And he ain't no more. And his problem is that people are willing to say it. Are people not supposed to be able to do their jobs in an unbiased way and be honest about who you are as a player because you feel like you had a better career than them?
Yeah.
I don't agree to that. And for you to sit up there and say that there are these people who feel like they have now become the celebrity or they have now become the superstar or the sports center of old is gone. Yeah, bro, because times change. The reason that they're paying you $1 million or whatever it is to be on Pat McAfee is because you had a great career and people are going to listen to your opinions, which people listen to my opinion. People listen to Cam Newton's opinion. People listen to Stephen A's opinion because those opinions are informed. And so my biggest problem with Aaron Rodgers, because to me, I'm actually not upset about what he's saying because I ain't no hit dog. And you know a hit dog a holler. Mm-hmm. My issue with him is you're doing the exact same thing.
You're doing it too.
And the reason that you're getting this opportunity to say these asinine things is because someone is paying you who is exactly the same thing that you are now speaking out against. Yeah. This dude is once again tone deaf. This dude is once again unaware. This dude is once again arrogant to a point that's almost sickening because he says these things and he talks tough and he behaves in this way, but he ain't. Right? He has all of this cachet because he's a good player. But they ain't people around here that come around and talk about what type of leader you are. They ain't people that come around here and talk about wanting to follow you because of the type of man you have been. This dude is a fraud, right? He's been a fraud, and he could throw a football, and that's where it stops. Once that talent ends, so does him, and so does he.
That's Ryan Clark. Now, let's be fair here. Ryan Clark was responding to something Aaron Rodgers had said a few days earlier, I believe, on McAfee's show. Let's play what triggered all of this originally. I believe it's SOT number 5, Aaron Rodgers talking about ESPN and the sports media today. SOT 5.
There's a lot of people talking about the game now, both non-players, non-former players, and former players who, are trying to stay relevant fame-wise. So the takes and the criticism, I think, are a lot different than they were maybe in the mid-2000s. I'm not talking about you, Pat, so chill out or stop being sensitive. Talking about these experts on TV who nobody remembers what they did in their career. So in order for them to stay relevant, they have to make comments that keep them in the conversation. That wasn't going on in 2008, 2009. That was non-existent. The Sports Center of my youth. Those guys made the highlights so much fun, and that's what they showed on SportsCenter. Now it's all talk shows and people whose opinions are so important now, and they believe they're the celebrities now. They're the stars for just being able to talk about sports or give a take about sports, many of which are unfounded or asinine, as we all know. But that's the environment that we're in now.
So with that bit of context, you can hear why, in my view, Ryan Clark might have a response. And Aaron Rodgers did say that, what did he say? No one can remember who they played, and they're actually stars now. And so that's what I believe triggered Ryan Clark to say, well, hold on, man, you're on Pat McAfee's show. He was a punter. No one remembers what he did in the NFL, and now he's the biggest star. Ryan Clark responds to that. And so now he did this whole fraud deal. Aaron Rodgers yesterday went back on Pat McAfee's show and went after Ryan Clark over the vaccine. Let's play that clip.
PSA is this. I know I got to say this multiple times for people because they don't listen, but say whatever the you want about me. I don't care. But just before you do it, whether you state your name, your accolades, pronouns, whatever it is, just state your vax status so that anything you say afterwards gets put in the right light. To just get it out there. Because then when you say things about me, people can at least be like, oh, you are captured by the multi-billion-dollar propaganda psyop, and you're still upset about it.
Okay.
This will help things out.
Yeah, this is good. This will settle it all down. I appreciate that. And
Hey, you know what I mean? Just put that in just so everybody knows where you're coming from. Everybody knows, okay, cool. You're twice vax Moderna with 3 booster shots. And then boom, boom, boom. Say what you want to say. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying a PSA. Just please help everybody out who's wondering, where is this coming from? Including myself. What the f is this coming from? But just give a little PSA. You do a little bit of digging, then you know where it's all coming from, right? You're captured, you're highly vaccinated, and then say whatever the hell you want to say about me, because I couldn't give 2 shits about it. All I care about is that you put that little disclaimer out there. Just like it's in the bottom for me, that I'm a champ, MVP, and I am enthusiastic about ayahuasca. Just put, instead of your accolades that you need to have out there, so desperately, just put your vax status as well, because you cared so much about it, during the COVID years.
all right.
So just put it out there on your bio when you're on your shows or whatever. You don't just need a brooch with your initials.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Put your vax status on there too.
Okay. All right.
So the brooch comment made it real clear he's talking about Ryan Clark, who wears a brooch with his initials on it, some of his outfits. Having said all that, at the moment, and I'm open to different interpretations, I don't have a problem with Ryan Clark and him responding to Aaron Rodgers. We got more competition going on in the broadcast booth than we do on the field. These guys don't like each other, and they're letting it be known. And I don't really have a problem. Do I like Aaron Rodgers more than Ryan Clark? Yes. Ryan Clark annoys the hell out of me with his race baiting and his over-dramatized opinions or whatever. But in this instance, Aaron Rodgers threw the first punch, and Ryan Clark came back and threw another punch. And I'm kind of sitting back and enjoying it.
I don't know that he threw the first punch. Go back several, we may even have a shot of Ryan Clark criticizing him in his last game in Green Bay. Ryan Clark has been seriously critical of Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of it is post the vax stuff. So Aaron is looking at Ryan and saying, listen, you weasel punk, you were just a safety that nobody will remember long term. And that's the reality. He was a good safety. I wouldn't want to get hit by Ryan Clark. He was a safety nobody will remember. And to Aaron's credit, he's wrong about this, but he's like, nobody's going to be talking about me in 5-10 years after I retire either. That's how the game works. And so you wanted to get into broadcasting to stay relevant, and you stay relevant by criticizing me. That's your whole gig. I think Ryan threw the first punch, and he's been throwing jabs along the way.
Aaron Rodgers has been a bit of a punching bag, and partially because of the vax thing, partially because of the racial dynamics in terms of Ryan Clark, and he's got, let me beat up on these white guys. Ryan Clark has positioned himself where people read into his commentary. That he's done that to himself. He's not someone that just throws balls and strikes. He throws color-coded balls. Mm-hmm. Let me try to appear like I'm not anti-white, so I'll take this position. You can see it. It's all obvious. And then let me make sure I say some things that black Twitter and make sure my black credibility is all good. He plays that game. Let's be honest. The insurance model is broken. Crowd Health puts your health care back in your hands. Use the promo code FEARLESS at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com, promo code fearless game. And so you are starting to make me lean one direction more than the other, because let's play Ryan Clark. Let's play SOT number 10, Ryan Clark. This is from January of 2023, talking about Aaron Rodgers' final game with Green Bay. Play the clip.
When we're looking at the entirety of the Aaron Rodgers talk right now is this. You lose on your field to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You don't go for it on 4th down. You come back the next year and you lose to the San Francisco 49ers on your field, and they only scored 13 points. And then this year you walk off on your field and you lose to the Detroit Lions, who started this season at 1-6. When Aaron Rodgers says the carousel stops and you kind of know, think about the last 3 times he's walked off of Lambeau Field. He's walked off a loser, and he's walked off as a quarterback who couldn't elevate his team. When you're one of the all-time greats, one of the best to ever touch a football, you have to think to yourself, it's not about can I do it in the regular season. It's not about if I'm good enough to take snaps. It's about if I'm still good enough to win championships. And since early on in this decade, I have not been. And I think for Aaron Rodgers, those are the questions he has to answer. Is it still worth it to go through all I have to go through to play when I can no longer get us there?
I don't find that commentary out of bounds.
That wasn't too bad. There are some that, and I'm trying to Google and pull it, see if we can grab one. I think he was pretty harsh on him during the vaccine stuff.
Everybody was.
Yes. And Ryan Clark has, obviously, his point of this, attacking Aaron Rodgers, a lot of it's because he's a white dude. Ryan Clark never has the same smoke for black dudes that he does white dudes.
Well,
ever. He's a Kaepernickite. That's who he is.
Well, I can give you the example. His comments about leadership and blah, blah, blah. He said that with Cam Newton sitting to the left or right of him. and Aaron Rodgers like, hold on, man. Cam Newton, you're sitting right next to him. You want to talk about someone that wasn't a leader and blah, blah. And he would never say that about Cam Newton or any. Now, he might Dak Prescott because Dak is considered white adjacent. For some, but other than that, no, he would never. As many bad leaders there are in the National Football League and quarterbacks with no leadership skill in the National Football League, any of them that are black, Ryan Clark's not going to touch that. And now he's put Aaron Rodgers in this category as like, hey man, I'm the 4-time MVP, most valuable player. You can't sit here and say, no one will follow me. Well, Devontae Adams just left the Raiders to come follow me to the New York Jets. Some of these other guys he brought with him, Lazard and some of these other guys. Randall Cobb. Yep. There are guys that will swear by Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, there's Greg Jennings and guys that say his personality. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the same personality connection with his teammates that Brett Favre had with his teammates. And so there is something different about Aaron Rodgers. But, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is defending himself from basically and he's not, and he may go there, but it won't be easy for him to go there. What he would like to say is like, hey, man, y'all got this race baiter Al Sharpton sitting on ESPN questioning everything about me. There's no one willing to stand up to him on any of these panels and be like, hey, man, are we being fair here, or tell the other side, because he can play the race card on them. All the white guys are afraid of Ryan Clark. All the black guys are basically trying to play the black Twitter racial game. Yep. And so he's forced to defend himself. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.